Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, just had to make sure that everything was actually working. And it is! At least for now. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Thursday. Panic looked like he was about to say something there for a second. I almost stopped myself. Thursday, October 26th, 2017. It's another day. It's another technical alpha. And it was another one. This is three weeks running that I've been out of the house until like the last half an hour before. You'd think that things would go smoother each week. Nope. Just wouldn't be technical alpha without things going up in flames. But we got it sorted out relatively quickly, actually, to be honest with you. I was scared with Panic and his new setup and his complete rearranging of audio equipment. And there's more to be done yet. And I was like, oh god, is it all going to explode right as we get into it? And no, apparently not. At least, again, not for now. Gentlemen, how are you both doing today?
Jeff's got a mouthful of food, so...
Jeff's getting that yogurt into him.
No, things are going well. I got most of the setup and everything dialed in. I still have to spend probably 2 or 3 hours this week in just finalizing everything. But, like, everything is plugged in. Everything is working. Nothing is on fire. Good stuff all around. TwitchCon kind of threw the whole schedule out because I was going to have everything done, but, you know, got to drink and stuff.
Hey, TwitchCon was TwitchCon. And we'll probably talk about that momentarily, but Mr. Black,
yeah,
how are you doing? How is that yogurt? More importantly, the question everyone is wondering right now on their minds, how good is that yogurt?
Pretty good. I added some oatmeal to it.
You gotta mute yourself on Skype, by the way. Please and thank you.
Am I not muted? Oh, shit. All right, there we go. So, yeah, it was pretty good. I had some oatmeal and raisin and coconut into the yogurt, and then I stirred it around, and then I take a bite.
It's like a miniature parfait, except you're not spending $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 on it.
Exactly. Caleb buys these big bags of them at Costco, and it's just delicious. Good, healthy snack.
Yeah. Why are they so expensive? Like, everywhere you get a yogurt parfait, it doesn't matter if it's at, like, a grocery store or at, like, a Tim Hortons or something. It's just fucking yogurt and, like, a little sprinkle of oats and, like...
Because it's hand prepped, so they gotta pay somebody to make the damn thing.
It's so expensive. But yeah, Mr. Panic. Quickly, and we're going to talk about at least one section of TwitchCon, at least for a moment. We won't drag it on too long, but definitely something that I guess would be fun to talk about. But how was TwitchCon for you? This is the third one now, right?
Yes.
So I have to assume things are at least a mildly well-oiled machine with far less breakdowns and explosions than previous years.
TwitchCon is still a convention that doesn't quite know what kind of convention it wants to be. But that being said, this was probably the best TwitchCon they've had. They had a lot of the other stuff that they've kind of missed on at the other conventions sorted out for this one. The only real major fault, and I was tweeting about it over the weekend when I did have internet, was you put a bunch of internet people into one place and then take away the internet, things aren't going to go so great. But
That's true, yeah.
other than the complete signal dead zone that was the Long Beach Convention Center, the actual event itself was really put together very well. The after parties were good. The panels were good. It was just a much better convention than the prior two.
Good, yeah, because, I mean, I think everyone expected the first one to be an absolute gong show from front to back, and it was.
The first one was just like a weird business convention that like the convention center kind of closed down at like 6 and no one was around, and then things just got weird after that.
Good, 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 good. Oh, I'm just sorry. I'm asking because the last couple of weeks I've been blasting people with my audio and not so much everyone else on the track because we've had Discord. Actually, Panic and I were just discussing this before the podcast kicked off. At some point in Discord's development, everything that moves through Discord, unless you're using like a really specific microphone or Windows is doing some really specific stuff, everything is quiet and odd and weird. But I think we're good to go. So this week, I guess to spin right out of that, just for an easy segue, TwitchCon happened. Like every year, I'm kind of jealous because I don't go to cons very often, and I'm waiting like to go to a TwitchCon at least once so I can meet up with some other streamers and say hi. People I've known online for a long time, and everyone is they're all retweeting their retweets. Like it'll be like somebody will post a picture, and then a person they have tagged in it will retweet it, and then the person that originally posted it will retweet the retweet of the picture, the person that's in it, and so there's like this 7-hour-long block of TwitchCon related retweets of pictures that are the exact same photograph over and over again. Hold on, Rex has got this. I don't know if you guys can see this right now. Maybe if I move. He's got this. God, this is not going to play to those listening on iTunes. But if you can hear it gently in the background, he's got a stupid, freaking. Well, it's adorable, really. It's a pumpkin like jester collar on it. It's got bells all over it, and he is losing his mind right now. Come here. This is what he had on him. So I'm like trying to talk, and all I can hear in the background is just the constant jingling. We tried buying him, or Gabs did anyway. Bought him some bat wings, and today when we were out, and the elastics, because Rex is the size of a dog. He's not a cat really. We tried to put it on, and it was pulling his arms up, and he didn't know what to do with himself. So he was trying to walk, and he'd only go about 2 steps, and then he'd just lay down, give up, and then he'd get up again. And Gabs grabbed the treat bag and was like, "Come on over," and he fucking dies for food, and he'd struggle like he had just had a seizure, and he's trying so desperately to get to the bag, and then he'd give up and he'd just fall over. So I think we've given up on that dream, and now we've got the pre-Christmas jingle bells over here. But anyway, at TwitchCon, the thing that everyone ended up talking about, at least for a portion of it, was the IRL streamers.
Oh my god.
That blew up my timeline for at least 2 of the 3 days.
Bad. Like,
yeah,
straight up bad.
And I got, I got all manner of stuff show up. I have people saying, it's not that many of them, but there are some that are being particularly bad about it, and some of them are being respectful. Others are just like right up in your face, like you haven't said that you want to be necessarily on right now, and all of a sudden you're in the middle of a live stream and they're just like arm around shoulder and hey, what's up, and so yeah, for somebody who was actually there, I would like to hear your take on what it was like, because apparently, at least for the party that opened the whole thing, it was a bit of a mess.
So the party itself, so on Thursday night, there were 2 parties going on. There was the Discord party, which had Medion, and then the Twitch partner party, which was just really I was actually probably my favorite party of the entire event, even more than the actual TwitchCon party. They pretty much just booked out one of the hotels nearby, and they just had the entire patio area completely booked with like tents and a couple of bars. And they just had like bar games, like giant Jenga, beanbag toss, and it was just a very chill event where people were just like
That actually sounds pretty dope.
Yeah, you just like sit on chairs. You'd be able to talk with people. You can get drinks. You just walk around and mingle. It was just a very laid back affair. And it was very nice. But then the other problem was you had all these IRL streamers like walking around saying, "Oh my God, I'm in the exclusive partner party," and then they'd be walking up to partners and stuff and like trying to like get them in on the stream to like talk to streams or whatever. And they were just being loud and kind of obnoxious. And a lot of people were like, "The con hasn't even started yet. You guys can lay off, maybe mingle and network and just kind of enjoy the party. You don't have to be like on all the time streaming. You have another 3 days of that coming up." But like, it was kind of a little messy at the party for that. That was like the first major issue. The second one was actually on the show floor. That was part of the reason the internet was dead all the time, was because everyone was pretty much eating up the bandwidth doing IRL streams so bad that it was pretty much knocking data out every few minutes.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so there were points where people just couldn't coordinate. I'd have to like outside of the convention center, I had to be like, I'm heading in. Where are people going to be? And if it takes me more than 10 minutes to get there, chances are people are gone. And it's like, well, shit. And then once you're on the floor, if you don't come out for air or internet, you're going to get, like, I was getting notifications like 3-4 hours after the fact. If I like get a ping of data, be like, hey, you missed all these messages. I'm like, sweet. But the worst part about it was their manners. One particular instance that stuck out in my mind was me and a couple of the streamers. We were actually at the Razer booth talking to Razer about some of the stuff they have coming out for their entry-level streamers. Mm-hmm. And this guy, literally full-on selfie stick, talking to chat, just walks up and is just like talking to his stream saying, yo, I'm going to be checking out all this Razer gear. We're going to be playing Overwatch. And as he's doing this, he's like backing into the Razer employee who's talking to us and like trying to push him out of the way, so he can get on the computer to play some Overwatch.
Oh my God.
And like to show off the gear. And the employee's just like, hey, can you not film right now? I'm talking to some streamers about some of our products and you're interrupting. And that guy was just like, I'm trying to stream. I was just like, okay. And Razor's
so
like,
obviously,
and he's like, I told you can't record, so you can't.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's as simple as it gets, right? It's like I don't want to be recorded, and so
yeah.
Congratulations, turn your camera off or get it out of here. So there's two sides to this, right? There's the one side where it's like you're at a convention for live streamers. And recently, Twitch has now adopted IRL streams as a massive portion of their website. And so there are people saying, well, what did you expect? You're at a convention for Twitch. You're going to be on live streams, probably from people walking around the show floor, basically the whole time. So you can't complain about it. You're in this thing, whatever. And then the other side is again, there are areas where that makes sense to do it, and then there are areas where you probably shouldn't. Yeah, and then above all, it's kind of just the line of respect where it's maybe I should ask this person if they want to be on camera right now before I shove my phone in front of their face and try and get them to talk to my chat and be all smiley, go happy and be want to be part of it, because odds are, I mean, there are a number of people. I'm sure the older the streamer, not in terms of their physical age, but how long they've been doing this, the less they actually want to be streaming while they're at TwitchCon. They probably are looking forward to a few days of not having to be on and meeting people and being off the internet in that regard and just seeing people face to face and having
actual
conversations and not having to deal with the online stuff. So obviously
feedback.
This is a great place for opinions. Mr. Black, if you were at TwitchCon and some IRL guy just randomly walks up on you and you're talking with a couple other people,
I'd be on front page Reddit, bro. I'd be on the front page Reddit. Listen, I've been biting my tongue, but I'm gonna tell you right now, 98.5% of the people walking around IRL streams are a bunch of fucking cucks that aren't really streamers, that think they're on fucking Cloud9 and there's some kind of importance and they're at a big Twitch event and they're taking all of their 6 viewers with them and they're walking around showing off and acting like a celebrity when they're fucking cucks. And if they had their phone out in my face while I'm sitting there in a meeting and they're acting all giggly and bubbly and fun, and I'm not trying to ruin people's fun, but fuck off. I would have been on the front page Reddit. Right, I would have looked like the biggest asshole. I could see it now. MaximusBlack, a douche, tells a guy to fuck himself or some shit. Because I just don't. You're absolutely right. And the vast majority of legitimate partners and legitimate streamers out there, they're not walking around with a camera in their hands. And they're not acting like fools. They're there to take some time off, to meet with fans, to meet with their peers,
to
talk,
business.
network, to go and get some potential sponsors, and first and foremost, to get the fuck off the internet. Because believe it or not, it feels good to get off the internet, and you're not off the internet at home where you're feeling guilty about not being on the internet. You're out at a conference or a convention where it's a business trip that's on the books for most people if they're smart, and they feel like they're still accomplishing something without having to act like a retard for 8 hours of the day. So, yeah. Fuck the I already don't like the IRL streamers, a lot of them anyway. I think it's a cesspool of AIDS. I think the vast majority of them are a bunch of chicks with their tits hanging out, playing Just Dance all day and drawing pictures with people's names on them for subs in the background while collecting money from 40-year-old cucks that never seen a tit in their life. That is literally the IRL section, and it's AIDS, and there's very, very few good IRL streamers out there that are doing anything of importance. I could care less about someone sitting in their basement with a Dance Revolution or a fucking Guitar Hero and your tighty whities and your tits hanging out. I don't fucking care. And that's the thing. I saw it all on Twitter of these girls posting selfies in their fucking smoking hot dresses out with the Twitch chicks. They said we couldn't make it, but we're here. We're going to have our own panel. We're just, it's girl power. And you know what? Yeah, I can go ahead and sound like a hater. But the reality is they're just, it's annoying. I like, you know what? Get your hustle on,
Jeff,
but just don't do it. Just don't do it in my face. Just
You
don't.
want to hear something fun?
Just don't do it. Just don't do it in front of me because I don't care. Make your money, boo-boo. I made my money. I'm not going to hate on your hustle, but just don't put it on my face at TwitchCon because I'll call you out on it.
You want to hear something funny though? There's 2 other instances that happened. This one's the best one though. I was in airport security on the plane back, like getting ready to board my damn plane back, going through security. Got my laptop and all my shit out in the bins. I hear from behind me, "Hey y'all, just checking in from security here at at LAX." And then I immediately hear, "What do you think you're doing? Turn that off right now!" And like 2 TSA guys just like grab this guy and just pull him into a back room.
What a fucking idiot. Who's standing in line at security TSA going, you know what? This would make great entertainment.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you thinking?
Why
They
would
have
you do
signs
that to
saying
yourself?
don't record.
Oh my God. It really... Okay, so in fairness to IRL streamers, there are IRL streamers that do it right.
Yep.
There are 100% legitimate IRL streamers. There is something to be said. Some of the ones that I find most, it's almost like
If you're going out
they
and
have to-
doing
I like
something,
the music streams. The music streams are great.
music
There's
streams
go out
a
and
few of them.
do
There's guys that
something.
play the piano.
Yeah.
There's a few chicks that I watch that are like really musically talented. They're singers or they do whatever. And then there's some people that actually do artwork and things like that there's purpose to it. But the ones that are sitting on there every day and just laying on their floor and next to nothing and wearing next to nothing, and their whole motive is to siphon money out from these 14 to 40-year-old males when they should be on those porn sites, those ones where you throw
My
coins or
free
tokens on them. Like and a
Chatterbait.
You wanna know
lot of them legitimately came from those
From
sites.
there.
And so when the word is spreading that, hey, we can make a lot more money and we don't have to degrade ourselves as much, we just have to act sexy, act ditzy, let people tell them they want to stick their dick between our tits and act like, oh no, don't say that. That's you don't say that shit here. Oh, you gave me $10. Oh, just shit like that. It's just like it just annoys me. Like I have such a vendetta. Like it runs it to my core. Like because I know what they're doing, and and at the same time, I'm never gonna like go on their stream and hate on them for it because they're getting their money. So I can't hate on somebody that's being an entrepreneur and getting their own money. But if you're gonna ask me my opinion on it, I'm gonna just be upfront. I just think it's horrible. I was on Twitter during TwitchCon, and there was a chick. I'm not gonna say her name. And she's not even one of the main chicks on IRL. There's like 4 or 5 like main chicks that are on there every day. They do nothing. All they do is look pretty, and a lot of them a lot of the girls, they look haggard, like they look used, like they look like they've seen some shit, and they're not even sexy. But it is what it is. So if they're listening, you're haggard likely, and you're just not sexy. You're fake tits. And you, pumping your chest up in front of the camera, it doesn't look good, and it looks really, it's not a good look. But anyway,
but Jeff, tell us how you really feel.
Oh, I'm telling you. And so there was one chick in particular that I've never seen before, and she was like periscoping and twitching all at the same time. I mean, she was hitting it all at once.
Inception.
And she was walking around outside of TwitchCon, and there was obviously a group of kids just following around. She had her camera up, and you could never even see, unless she was like hitting a bump in the road or some shit, you could never see above her eyes. It was just like, it was her nose and mouth and tits. And I mean, like, it was 80% tits, and then a little bit of crooked teeth and a haggard nose, and that was the show. And no matter where she was going, it was tits and teeth. And I was like, what is the point of this? And she was drunk, obviously drunk, right? Like bar hopping drunk. And it was just ridiculous. So that's how I feel.
I think the IRL category should have one restriction, and I think it would fix a lot of the IRL problems.
Yeah, we're closed.
No, not even that. Oh. You can't be in your fucking room. You got to be out somewhere doing something, like legit. That would fix 80% of it.
But then they'll have like a $20,000 renovation goal to go and put a studio in the backyard or some shit where they can go out there and do their dance. So just
set
dance
a high
17.
That's a high barrier to entry. They got to have that $20,000 studio in their backyard. That'll knock out like the bottom 90%, Jeff.
It's just, I mean, it is a bit silly, and I do think that the IRL section is they
were like bombing panels and stuff. It's like, seriously. Shut it off.
It's the least policed area of Twitch. And there are IRL streamers that are infinitely bigger than game streams. Like some of these IRL streamers are fucking huge. And they're making a fortune. And not all of them are chicks. I mean, there are dudes that do a lot, but there are some ultimately ridiculous IRL streamers. Who's that one? This one guy in particular, I can't remember his name, but he showed up a lot, in regards to IRL stuff, because he was constantly trying to get people to like show up to his location and shit.
Oh, stream sniping.
No,
I don't know the guy's name, but that's close. It's like real life stream sniping.
Yeah, and he'd like let people know where he was, and then they'd like all go. And I
Ice
can't
Poseidon?
remember the guy's name. No, not Wreckful.
No, Ice Poseidon.
Ice Poseidon. That's it. No, I was looking at chat. Sorry, Panic. Yeah, Ice Poseidon. So that dude
got swatted so many times.
Yeah, but you know what? At least with Ice Poseidon is there was like entertainment value in what he did. Like he went out and he did a bunch of stuff, and he left his house and he did things. Well, I mean, some of the stuff that he did was absolutely stupid, and he got ultimately banned for it. But yeah, I mean, he at least went out and did IRL shit. He just didn't sit in his room and play Just Dance 17 for 7 hours.
No, but most of
That
his
shit should be
most of his
reported. Like
shit-
if you're playing Just Dance in IRL,
but
categorize
most
that shit
of-
as Just Dance.
Yeah, most of his shit though is what most of the shit that he did though IRL is just fucking inflammatory bullshit. Like, yeah, I guess you can make a case he's not singing in his room, but he's also just being an asshole in public. Like just being just being ridiculous to the point where he inevitably he got banned for it, like permaban. Just get the fuck out of here. I'm glad it finally happened because it needed to happen a hell of a lot sooner. But the problem is that mindset of Ice Poseidon has carried over into a whole fucking host of other IRL people, and the general disregard for people's private space, just because they're out walking around in public, has now shown itself up in the Twitchcon shit. And that's exactly what we're seeing. We're seeing a bunch of these same people who are trying to record literally every waking moment, shy of wiping their ass in the morning after the fucking coffee shit, is all live, and it's all everywhere, and everyone is apparently their puppet, and they can just fucking put them on whenever they fucking want, and it's ridiculous. So I'm hoping that by next year, TwitchCon, they have regulations in place for some of this shit. Like
Panels should not have IRL. They should
No
have areas
fly
of the
zones.
floor where it's like no
Like,
IRL.
yeah,
the party,
you can't.
the party is no IRL, like no streaming, like whatever.
Exactly.
But I that was actually feedback they got from a lot of people. Like I actually specifically wrote to them saying, "Hey, next year have some IRL free zones. Don't have them in the panels. Just like don't ban it. Let them do their thing, but just restrict where they can do it."
Yeah, I remember like back in the day on TwitchCon, like not even I mean even last year I noticed it, but like in other Twitch events, like we used to call it TwitchCon before it was TwitchCon. We used to go to like PAX East and call it TwitchCon. Because that was what it was. There's a bunch of Twitchers would go there and hang out with other Twitchers, and that was the thing. But one thing that I've noticed over the years, and obviously it is because the site has grown, is there's not a discrepancy on what a real partner is. And when I say that, it's going to be hard for me not to say this without sounding arrogant or anything like that, but there is a difference between a partner that has been in the program for a long time or have contributed in some way of the growth of Twitch. I mean, you can make that argument for anybody that becomes a partner. You're obviously helping the growth, but people that are legitimate Twitch stars, like people that are that you tune in to see. It's kind of like if you're on television and you're at prime time. Right after work. Yeah, right after work, you're gonna watch Dancing with the Stars, right at fucking 8 o'clock or whatever, and it's gonna get a lot of the views. Well, the vast majority of partners, because they're partnering really anybody now, is that people are going there and they're getting the same treatment as the prime timers, right? Maybe they're not having their flights taken care of or whatever, like maybe some of the prime timers are, but they're getting in the same parties. They're getting in the same area at the venue. They're doing all the same things that the stars would do. And I mean, I guess that is cool because you're not creating a hierarchy, so to speak. But at the same time, those people don't really get it. They don't. A lot of them are young. They go in with a bunch of egos. They think they're fucking hot shit because they're sitting in the same. They're sitting there and Dr. Disrespect is 2 feet away from them in the same area, and they're pulling out their cameras, they're taking selfies, they're trying to film people when they don't want to be filmed, they're doing all this shit, and that, in my opinion, as somebody that has been in Twitch since before it was Twitch, and of course, I'm the guy I'm jaded as fuck, and I'm not sitting here telling people that, just because you haven't put in the time, you don't deserve to be there. I'm not saying that, but there should be some levels to this shit in some way where you just don't walk in there thinking you're Dr. Disrespect and it's your show. Like it's not even like, say, a Dr. Disrespect show, but obviously when somebody of that caliber or a Summit or even like I don't know, I'm thinking of really big guys, but even guys that have just been in the grind for years, that are known, you know, like Tally or somebody from World of Warcraft, or Swifty, or Athene, or myself, or Adam, or whoever, people that have done it for a long time. Those people kind of understand how you act, and you shouldn't act in these sort of situations. And typically those people get annoyed. I don't want to speak for everybody. I can only speak for myself. But those type of people get annoyed by the people that are bombarding them when they don't want to be. You'll notice that,
like, if you go into like a partner lounge or something.
Wait. You'll notice that when partners are over in the partner area and sitting down, they're usually drained from walking around, taking pictures, signing things, doing sponsored obligations while they're there, going to panels, and they just want to be left alone or talk to the person that they were talking to on the internet for the last God knows how long, and they want to have an actual discussion. They want to just relax. And then are getting bombarded by excited people. And rightfully so, they're excited. Hell, you're a new partner. You're at TwitchCon. You've got the fancy bracelet. You're in there with everybody. It's fucking exciting. You got free Red Bull and all the Coke you can drink. I mean, wonderful. But it doesn't mean you got to act like a child or act like you're king shit. And it goes, there are big streamers that do act like children and act like king shit, but I'll guarantee you those big streamers, the vast majority of everybody else can't fucking stand them. And so they're not around that group anyway. They're usually doing whatever. They make an appearance for 5 minutes and then they're out of the door and they're doing their diva shit. So, you know, that's my thought on TwitchCon, because back in the day, the atmosphere was just completely different. When we were there, it felt like it was about us, and it felt like it was about where we're going next with Twitch and the announcements that they're going to make and how exciting it was. And now it feels like just a big party that anybody with 50 concurrent viewers can show up to, and you have no idea who they are. And all the praise to them. Keep grinding. You know, follow your dreams. It's wonderful, but you got to have some kind of respect when you're in the building. It's ridiculous.
I would agree with that. That did happen somewhat, but I was actually surprised that it didn't happen more. Like, the partner lounge was actually pretty tame. Like, there was ridiculous. There were like thousands of partners there this year, but like they were cycling through. But when people were in the partner lounge, they kind of had that implicit, "Hey, we're here to chill." So, like, you know, people weren't like, you know, I was expecting like, oh my God, we have a ton of new partners here. Again, I'm only partnered through the podcast, but I've been like hanging around you guys and streamers since like 2010. So, like, it's kind of that implicit rule. Like, yeah, if someone's chilling in like a partner lounge or something during the event, don't bug them. If you want to have like a casual conversation, go ahead. But like, don't be pulling out your camera saying, oh my God, can I get a selfie or can I get your autograph? You know, just keep it chill and then move on. The partner lounge at TwitchCon actually maintained that. It was like people weren't going nuts. People were chill conversations. I don't think I saw too many selfie cams or people like going nuts in that lounge. I think the IRL streamers and other people were just going crazy everywhere else. But yeah, no, I completely agree with what you're saying there.
Yeah, I mean, from Twitch's perspective, I guess it's kind of difficult with the size of the website now as it is, and
there's like 20,000 something partners or more now.
The new people coming up through is that if you're gonna start separating out the wheat from the chaff or the cream from the whatever the fuck you want to call it to try and make it politically correct, separating the plebeians from the gods is basically what you're talking about.
Without saying that, you know, but yeah.
Where do you is like there's a line that's going to be drawn somewhere in some category, and what do you make it? Do you make it, well, they're a partner and they've been partnered for at least a year? Okay, well, if you do that, then what happens when somebody like Dr. Disrespect comes along and he goes from 0 to 150 in 9 months? But
before you were given a different bracelet, like even at say PAX or some other conventions, there would be a Twitch booth, and not even myself could go up there, right? There has been many of times where there was a Twitch area, and just because I was a partner didn't mean I could go in there. It was like an invite thing. It was like, hey, you know, you're part of the show. You had an exhibition badge. If you were just a partner, you could hang around the booth and get a little Twitch thing. You can write your name on it. You can go to the after party. But when it came to actually lounging and being part of the Knows Know, I wasn't even allowed in there. Sure, I probably could have talked to somebody and pulled some strings and got in there if I really wanted to try it.
but I was always the type whenever I went to these conventions that I never
Hang out
acted
with
like a
friends.
diva. Like I was there to meet up with fans or my friends, and we would just hang out. Like, it is what it is. Like, even last year at TwitchCon, I was part of the show. I did the Omen challenge in the stadium on the main stage, and I didn't even get to go to an after party. Like, I wasn't even given they sold out because a whole bunch of other partners that for the better of for the choice of words, a bunch of partners that were just newly partners that really they weren't contributing. They hadn't contributed like I had contributed. And they were getting in there because it was a huge sign up list, and it was first come, first serve. And that was the show.
Yeah.
So, for me, I was like, hey, whatever, Twitch apologized, and they were like, yeah, dude, it was a mess this year. Like, we're going to work on it. And I didn't care, like, because I went out to dinner with Twitch. Like, I got to actually sit down and do things. It was just more of like, well, what happens there with some of the partners that actually do care, and that want to go to these things. And that's what it was like before. Is there you would get certain badges to go into certain areas. I think that's the only way they could invite. There's almost they could reward streamers for putting in the work. Like, hey, you're gonna get this extra special treatment, right?
So what they did this year for the TwitchCon party was that they had the entire Queen Mary plus the entire harbor. I was hearing people complaining because they're like, oh, the partners and everyone are mixed together. Like, it's not exclusive enough. But what they did this year was like, hey, if you're a partner, you can get into the party through the partner only line with a +1 an hour and a half before we let anyone else in. You get in, first 1,500 partners get like the bracelet with the drink tickets. You get in, you have free reign of this place for an hour and a half before everyone else. Like, it was like a mini carnival with like haunted mazes and stuff, and like 10 bars and like lounges and stuff. So they're like, you have an hour and a half before everyone else gets in, and then they were pretty much like just letting people in batches. So like a lot of the partners were complaining like, oh, I got here at like 10 o'clock and I had to wait like half an hour to an hour in while the general admission line was like 2 to 3 hour waits to get in. So, I have sympathy for the partners who want to get in, but at the same time, Twitch it's really hard to do like events and parties for that many people. Like, there's 20-something thousand partners.
Oh, for
there
sure.
were thousands of partners there this year.
Of course.
And they're trying to be equitable to all the partners while also at the same time trying to give the exclusivity. I can see the challenge there. It's hard, but at the same time, I'm kind of with you. Like, you can find ways to make it work. Like, you don't necessarily have to go to the Twitch party because you have meetings with Twitch. If you're a higher up enough partner, you can go and network with the people. There's tons of other things going on that you can go to network and interact with in whatever kind of setting you want, be it small group of friends, bar hopping, whatever. You can find it at the con anyway. So,
yeah. I mean, it is difficult. I'm sure they'll figure out more and more elegant ways of.
It'll just get
sorting
worse,
that
honestly.
out.
Like,
There's
the
just so
more
many
the site
people.
goes on, the more partners there's going to
Well,
be.
it'll
So
be more necessary, I guess. But it will become more necessary for them to be able to sort through that kind of
suppose.
stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, their hand is going to be forced. I mean, all it's going to take is one con where there's 15,000 partners show up to this convention center from all over the fucking world, all expecting to have varying levels of access to different things because they are a partner. And Twitch is basically,
they really should just do subgroups.
well, they've redone the entire partnership experience on Twitch now, to the point where like they're very adamant that they want you to feel like you're a part of the Twitch family the moment you're a partner.
Yep.
And so they're gonna have to have something in place for that. While I mentioned that, and just briefly, did either of you, I imagine Panic more likely than Jeff, see the opening ceremonies thing?
I didn't watch anything from TwitchCon.
Did you hear like the features and stuff that
Yes.
they announced at TwitchCon? So we can just briefly talk about some of this stuff. The biggest one for me was the partner achievements thing, which is basically, and this ties into what I was just talking about, where they have achievements that's in your back end when you're an affiliate or whatever, that as you progress through and unlock all these achievements, you get to the point where they guarantee you a partnership. So, and you can see it now visually.
Physical benchmarks.
Well, that's good.
Do this,
which
you're a
was
partner.
like 2 fucking Siskel
that's
and
good.
Ebert big
Yeah.
thumbs up, because that's
Much
going to
needed.
take,
100% on board.
that needed to be, that was, and it's a good way of doing it. They gamified it. It works with the site. Hopefully, people know where to find that, because Twitch's back end for the dashboard is pretty garbage, to be honest with you. So it's probably going to be hidden under like 17 clicks to get to it, but it's there, and I'm happy it's there. The other thing that they, of course, talked about extensions. I feel like Twitch extensions. I feel like Twitch extensions is my old man with a VCR moment for Twitch. Like I've now reached that point where this whole extensions thing and the overlays, on the browser side for viewership experience and all these various ways in which it can be included and whatnot. As a streamer, I don't even know how I want to use that shit. If I want to use that shit, I don't know what it's really capable of. I don't know if it really does add anything as an experience. I don't know if I would want to go through the pain and suffering of setting the shit up at all.
There's some really cool extensions that you can use. Like the Hearthstone one is pretty awesome. Like where you can it shows users what the cards can do. There's some really cool things you can do with the functionality. My main concern is there's some really stupid shit that will end up happening with these extensions.
Yeah.
And then they want to tie in like in-app purchases or in-extension purchases. And I'm just like, there's already a lot of noise on the Twitch screen. Like even just for our very basic podcast, there's a lot going on the screen. And then they want to add more stuff. They want to kind of add like weird things. Like, there's got to be a line somewhere. Like I know there's going to be streamers who are going to use it too much and abuse it, or they'll have stupid ways to like, I don't even know how to like rip people off for money. I don't know where
it's
else.
exploitable.
Yeah, it's very exploitable. And honestly,
exploitable.
with the way Twitch is as a site, I would not trust a random extension developer with money. Somehow getting money from me. I'm just like, there is so much that I have concerns about here.
You know what I'm concerned about? All of the stuff that they announced here is all fine and dandy, and some of it is relatively intensive on the site side of things, and Twitch has been continuing to be more and more unstable as time has gone on. This week specifically, it has been nuclear meltdown levels of bad, multiple days. Thankfully, when I'm not streaming, so I've dodged bullets miraculously, but I mean, the shit is like a daily explosion. And now they're adding all this stuff, plus they're paralleling a fucking beta site that I don't even know what that beta site is for. I haven't received any info for it. I probably need the Twitch app because they only let people know what's happening if you download the fucking Twitch app now. So I don't even know what it does.
I talked with the video engineers for me and Nathanius were talking with the video engineers for a good 30 to 40 minutes, and they were actually asking, and like these were like the actual programmers. They had notebooks out and they were like writing our names down, and they were taking down technical details, like asking bit rates and we screamed
Thank
at.
God I wasn't there. Holy shit.
No, they were very receptive, and they were like, what do you want? Like, what problems? And I was just like, look, the buffering is killer at times, and how stream delays can get, like, stream delays are unpredictable. Like, it can get from like a couple of seconds up to a couple of minutes. Your viewers are at different levels. So, like, they talked about things like that. For Nathanius, he was talking about, how can I get higher bit rates without getting smacked, and and all this other stuff.
Nate wants 10,000 kilobit per second for
actually they're aiming for 8K. That's coming.
Yeah, but that's still not.
But then they were talking about how to do transcoding and stuff specifically, and some of the text that they're looking at, and if we'd be interested. I brought up the having dual audio streams thing, and the moment I said that, they're like, that's a really good idea, and they actually like wrote it down and were like thinking about it, and like, no, we can do that one where it's like you have 2 audio streams, so you can send like your music on one and then your normal stuff.
That's not gonna happen.
They're talking about it, so they can split it and then mute them separately. All right.
It's
You
not
know,
funny.
just look. There's something. Look, Ark. Don't get me wrong. We're streaming on Twitch right now. Jeff and I are partners. We've been part of this shit since before it was Twitch TV. I fucking love Twitch. It's given me a life. It's given me an ability to kind of not work in an office and push pencils. But god damn, if these guys are fucking slow when it comes to doing anything that partners suggest to them to fucking do. I have been told so many times that they are listening to partners and they've got a panel of fucking judges like this shit is fucking the X Factor. And they've got Simon Cowell telling them that their shit sucks and they need to get it moving. And it never changes. The website, honest to God, hurts my soul to use as a partner. I still, okay? I get lost.
Here we go.
In the dashboard. I fucking get lost in the dashboard. If I want to find something, there are 2 areas called settings on Twitch. And they're both in the fucking dashboard. And they lead to totally different shit. And I have to go down. Like, one of the first things that you learn when you're building a website out is how many layers does the website have before you get to the end point. And Twitch has 87,000 fucking clicks to get to the end point on the back end for dashboards. Stop the madness. Get somebody in there to make that shit look like it isn't designed by a high school graduate just trying to get into a fucking college for design. Stop. You have so much money. They've got the dude that fucking made that made the site that Microsoft just bought. They turned it into Mixer or whatever terrible ass name they gave that shit. The dude was like literally a high school graduate, fucking 18 years old. He put that shit together. They've got latency over there of less than 0.04 of a second with 4K 60 video that even I could spank it to. And they got Twitch with $600 billion fucking dollars, and they come out on stage and go, Kappa Pets for everyone! And just fuck off! Get your shit together! Get the core product fucking primed! It's so just beat dead as a dead horse! You've got people blowing you on the daily on Twitter for, oh, thank you for letting us know that you're working on all these problems on the site. You get it done so fast. We just love your service. And yes, it's good that you're showing everyone that you know that your site's blowing up. But if your site's blowing up so frequently that people praise you for telling them that it's blowing up so frequently, you've got a fucking bigger problem on your hands. Like the fact that your site's blowing up so frequently. Just get that shit. Panic's talking about dual audio streams in the same sentence. He just talked about the fact that there's so huge latency discrepancies between fucking viewers, and you want dual audio streams?
Yo, man,
it's a you think this is?
That's a problem. It's a big problem for a lot of streamers getting their shit muted.
Oh my god. I'm not disagreeing with you, but what I'm saying is, do you really think that that's, even if it happens, that it's going to be usable?
Adam, this is
Twitch. No, is the answer. That was a rhetorical question.
This is Twitch we're talking about. You're going to get the double audio streams before you get any usable video updates.
Well, this is what's going to happen. We're going to get double audio, and we're going to have one of these in fucking Espanol, and the other one's going to be fucking in English, and we're going to pull in all the Mexican viewers, and then I'll fucking talk about it then. But until that happens, no. It is not going to fucking be good.
Mexican.
If it even does happen. Oh my god.
Shall we move on?
Yes, please. Can we have a moment of silence for the Kinect that has officially been retired by Microsoft? They did it.
Thank
God. They fucking killed it. After starting first by forcing everyone to own a Kinect and cranking up the cost of the Xbox One. And then finally when they got rid of fucking Dean Malenko or whoever the frick that idiot asswipe was that, what was his name? That ran the Xbox division when the Xbox One
Don
launched.
Matrick.
Don Matrick, that's his fucking. I know Dean Malenko's a wrestler, but I couldn't think of his actual name. So Don Matrick, the friggin' idiot that got sent over to Zynga and then fucking bankrupt Zynga too because he's an idiot businessman. They decided to take that out and hey, you can buy an Xbox without a Kinect, and we've cheapened the package because we don't have this super expensive camera in it. And then now it's kind of just gone away because nobody was building anything for it except for friggin' music games and Peter Molyneux's wet dream with that Milo character, whatever, that never came to fruition. That they had, you know, massive E3 tech demos for.
They even make any money off the damn Kinect? Like,
not a chance in hell. Well, I shouldn't say that. What Microsoft did was they built this out, and they knew that they were going to use the technology for other shit. So currently, the technology in Kinect lives on in stuff like Cortana and some of their other facial recognition.
Has a bunch of it.
And yeah, so it is totally being used, just not by the Xbox.
They just don't want it for the gaming anymore.
No, and nobody did.
Look, there's some really
Nobody
cool
did.
things you could do with the Kinect, but honestly, like, the games never materialize because who wants to develop for a single platform with weird controls? Like, you can't use that shit for any PS4 game. You can't use that shit for any other platform. And it's hard to code. Like, why bother? No
It's
return.
expensive, and you had the market for you is tiny.
It's not worth it.
It's just, it was never, unless you have first party stuff, it was never going to get into the water. But yeah, they killed that bad boy off. And the only other place where this is being used is if you watch, if you have T&E, and you're like me and you love watching shitty ghost related TV programs, Ghost Adventures with the guy I like to call Biceps because he only goes to the gym and does curls all day.
Biceps.
And anyone who knows Ghost Adventures knows who I'm fucking talking about. He's literally just, you got one dude who lost like 400 pounds and now he looks like a strung out coke addict, and you get the other guy who literally just goes to the gym and his upper body's jacked. He looks like he'd pick up a godforsaken car, but it's all biceps all day. And they have this dude who makes all the devices that they use on the show, and one of them uses the Kinect sensors to map out when it detects shit going on in the room, and it maps it out as a person. The skeleton of varying sizes will show up, kind of thing, like a pointed thing, like the Kinect would register if you saw the back end of the system while
it was a pretty good VR sensor.
Yeah, so congrats to Kinect for being used to finding dead grandmothers everywhere. So shout outs to Microsoft.
I don't know how you watch
possible.
That shit, bro.
Dude, it is the funniest.
He watches Terrace
fucking
House.
Shit, it is so funny because they take it so seriously. It is dead serious, and it's
bro. They're finding
unbelievable.
ghosts, man. They're finding the dead.
You want to know my recent guilty pleasure, Adam?
Aaron, who's the guy who lost a bunch of weight, I think that was what the guy's name was. He is the. We'll say this. Don't get offended. He reacts to everything like a black person. He's white, but every reaction.
Oh shit, cuz!
Yeah.
Fuck!
No,
God
like
damn!
Like, you know when something happens and black people get excited so they start jumping around and running in circles randomly and shit? Like, he's just fucking, like, they're all fired up? That's Aaron. But for ghosts.
He's still celebrating the weight loss, man.
So, yeah, it's...
Get on another 3! Woo! Let's go!
The only bad TV...
No more fried chicken!
You know who he reminds me of, Jeff? Please watch it at some point for the lulz, because you know who he reminds me of? Travis. You know when Travis would get excited, right? Diz.
Yes,
He gets excited, and his eyes would open wide up, and his mouth...
Yeah.
Like, he gets that exact fucking face, dude, and I'm watching Diz on TV. So it's pretty fun.
My only guilty TV show is
fun.
Canada's Worst Handyman.
Oh, that's a good show, too. Nobody's lost a limb yet, so I'm kind of disappointed about that show. They needed to find worse people with power tools. They missed opportunities.
Why does one of the guys in that group, I just Googled them, why does one of the guys look like he comes out of like a shitty 90s rock band?
Because they're all like that, well, they're like modern era, like, not goth, but they're...
Dude, they're alternative.
They're a show called Ghost Adventures. You know they're going to be people that are into just let's wear all black and you know spike my hair up and wear tight V-neck black T-shirts.
Yes,
and bring them to the gunship. Dude, there was an episode where he got so emotionally drained, apparently, right, that he just like crumples over on the ground. And he's fucking losing his shit. And the guys had to try and pick this guy up and carry him, and the rest of them looked like they couldn't fucking pick up a jug of milk. And they're trying to carry this 220-pound, like 6'3" fucking gym addict goth out of the friggin' woods, and it was so entertaining to watch. Oh,
The shows
it's
are so
good stuff.
scripted, dude. They're so bad.
I know, but they're
Adam, you need
funny
to find
as
better uses of your
shit.
time.
Dude, I have
It's so
people.
funny.
I had this conversation with one of my friends. Well, she's a friend of ours. She's a friend of ours.
An acquaintance.
Yeah, I would say more an acquaintance though, but
Okay.
she's a friend. And we were out for dinner. And we had I had to check myself, and Kayla knew I was about to just bring down the gauntlet. And she was going on about the fucking chick that looks like my mom that does the Long Island medium.
She doesn't look like your mom at all.
The Long Island medium girl, man, she looks like my mom.
No, maybe
Yeah,
your
she
mom
does.
put on like 80 pounds.
Yeah, but I'm not. But she's got the
Well,
same
she's
kind of
got
hairdo.
the fingernails and the hairstyle, and I can see that. And your mom's accent is weirdly fucking Long Island. So.
Yeah. So
Can you
She was-
imagine Judy
she was telling me
doing medium shit?
she came. Well, that chick came here like not too long ago for a
No,
concert.
she didn't.
She was just here like a month ago.
No
and
way.
every-
If Gabs
ev-
knew that, she'd kill me because
Oh.
she loves that shit.
Oh, she was
loves
here,
Long
and it was
Island.
it was at the Metro Center and shit. It was like sold out, and she was
Oh,
like
it's
doing
such horse
she was
shit. I
doing
fucking love it.
live live readings of like people, and
I'm getting
and,
an A.
Oh, I know. dude. I'm so like. She was like, yeah, she was like, yeah, I saw this episode and it was so real. Like, you're not gonna believe. And I'm thinking, I'm like, do you seriously believe that this woman is talking to the dead? Do you know what she's doing? She's a scam artist.
How does the number 0 relate to you? Well, I haven't had any kids yet.
I'm seeing a girl. Oh, must be my grandmother. Yeah. And she
My
has
great grandmother who died 10 years ago.
she has a name. Oh, yes, it was Grace. How did you know that? And it's ridiculous because what they do is they just prey upon people's emotions, and when
yeah.
people are
Like those
are-
faith healers.
yeah, when
Your
people
heels.
are emotionally distraught and they're looking for some kind of closure or answers, you're so much more susceptible to whatever bullshit that this person is spewing.
of course.
And it's like they're playing God, right? They're telling you everything that you want to hear. And some people can make the argument, well, they're providing closure and they're
Which
healing
is
people,
fine,
which is okay.
really.
You
They're
know,
not hurting anyone that bad.
no, but it's like when I look at it, I go, come on. Like, you really think that this person is talking to somebody that's dead? You know? Do you really believe that? Seriously? It's
Look,
ridiculous.
Look, I think as long as they weren't like just digging deep
And for profit,
like,
too, right?
Return, yeah, but at least she doesn't seem like she's going deep for like return customers. Like if there are people out there who are trying to get them to like come
Yeah.
back and like
Come back next week when
again
your
and-
old man comes back and talks to me. He's
Yeah.
going to be here every Thursday at 7 p.m.
Yeah, exactly.
It's only
Like, if that was the
$150 a
case-
session. Don't worry about it.
If that was the case, I'd be like, all right, that's a bit assholish. That's digging a little deep. But if you're just doing these one-off sessions and shit, then it's it is what it is. But yeah, that show, I don't like watching that one. That one hurts my soul to watch a little bit. But Gabs likes it, and so
Oh,
sometimes we watch it. But yeah, good stuff. But yeah, shout out to Connect for dying. It's good. It's a good job. Maybe the Long Island Medium will talk to the dead Connect in 5 years from now, and we'll get to hear the stories behind Milo's disappearance and why Peter Molyneux just can't seem to get work anymore. That was needlessly harsh. Sorry, Peter. So
Sorry,
not
Peter. I'd be more sorry for the Connect if you had to deal with Peter.
true. So what else would I have here? Oh, right. Okay. So in the Destiny 2 came out for the PC this week. And I just finished the campaign last night, and I've played PvP, both the quick play and the competitive. I haven't done the raid or anything yet because you have to grind. I've probably got like another 20 hours of grind before I can even touch the raid, which is its own thing. It's whatever. It's the game. But I've done a bit of everything else, and I know Jeff has been playing quite a bit of Warframe in the last few days as well. And Warframe just got their big, long
both.
talked about. Yes, I know Panic's been as well. And I've played Warframe, although I played the Warframe in the update before this one. So I played Warframe previously to the major one here that just came out. And obviously both of these games get talked about in the same sentence quite frequently because they are going after a very, very, very similar market, very similar player. And Warframe being on the PC has obviously, and I think Warframe was on PS4 as well, at the very least. I can't remember if it was on Xbox as well. But Warframe's been around for a good long time. Destiny definitely borrowed some stuff from Warframe when it showed up on the block. And now they're getting talked about in the same sentence again, especially now that Destiny 2 is on the PC. So I wanted to talk about, since all three of us have played to varying degrees both of these titles, I wanted to talk about them and see what we liked and disliked about the both of them, because people often have asked me when I'm sitting there playing Destiny is this better than Warframe? Or should I bother buying this right now? Should I wait? What's the situation? Etc., etc. And I'm sure Jeff's getting a lot of the same questions when he's playing Warframe as well. People asking about it and perhaps even Destiny 2. So yeah. So Mr. Black, first of all, I want to get your opinions on Warframe. Did you play Warframe before this major update, or is this your first experience with Warframe?
I got sponsored to play them for a few hours there last year, so I did play some. And I enjoyed it. Like, even back then, I thought it was fun. It's a fast-paced shooter. It's much more fast-paced than Destiny. It's very grindy. Like, I feel like Destiny, there's a little bit more purpose to the game. It feels like, and once again, I only played the Destiny 2 demo. I did play the first Destiny for maybe 20 hours. Not huge on the genre. Like, I don't think it's a game that I could play 8-10 hours a day every single day. Like, I'd want to just stop shooting things. But Warframe, I'm gonna just say it. I think it's better. I just think it's a better game.
That's a perfectly fine opinion to have.
I know I'm gonna ruffle some feathers, but I actually just think it's a better game. I think it's I think Destiny plays a little better in terms of shooting. They got that down. Like, when I played Destiny 2 on the demo, it felt great.
It scratches that itch.
Like, yeah, it feels good. But that's it. It's like, even a blowjob cannot feel good after a while. You know what I'm saying? And once you get a little bit too sensitive, you're saying don't touch it anymore.
I need some time.
Right? I need some space. Let this thing heal up a bit, because shit is sensitive. Right? So that's kind of like the way I look at it for Destiny. But that's me. Like, this is a very subjective opinion on Destiny. There's some people that absolutely love it. There's some people that are like praising Destiny 2 for how good Destiny 2 is. And I guess I can't be that good of a judge because I never played a shit ton of Destiny in the first place. But at the same time, there's a reason why I didn't play a shit ton of Destiny in the first place, is because it didn't capture me the way I thought it was going to capture me, with all the hype and the money that went into it and all the players and the ads and the 10-year game plan and everything else that was going on. I thought this would have been like a game I'd get lost in. Like, it would just be a game that was like, you know what, swallow me up. And I don't want to be taken out of this world. But, after 4 or 5 hours, I was ready to play, StarCraft 2. Like, I was like, I'm done shooting things. Now, with Warframe, I thought for sure that after 4 or 5 hours of playing it straight, that I would be burnt out from the high-octane action that is Warframe. But you get just enough breaks in between them, and there is enough, like, playing World of Warcraft, for example. When I did the missions on World of Warcraft, they were just long enough, and it was linear enough that you always felt like you were achieving something. So even like 10, 15 minutes in, you either beat the quest or you got a little bit further in, and there's some kind of reward system. Like, something goes off in my brain saying, "Oh, you've done great, keep it up," and you just kind of keep going. What I've noticed in a game like RuneScape, for example, in questing in RuneScape, unless you're using a guide, which most people do, is you have these long drawn-out parts where there feels like there is no progression, and then you get pissed, and you're like, why am I doing this? This is fucking stupid. And what's nice about Warframe is it gives you sort of that World of Warcraft feel where you're achieving enough, just enough, and there's just enough break that you can actually play it for long periods of time without getting burnt out on the game. I had a 10-hour day of it a couple days ago. Yesterday I played it for, I think it was 7 hours. And then the day before that, I think I've probably put on average 8 or 9 hours every day that I played over the last few days. It's been great, man. Viewership has been nuts. The community's blowing up. I jumped in it because of all the hype, and I wanted to see, like,
patch.
yeah, I wanted to see what all the
Huge
hype
update.
was about. Twitch is doing a promotional thing with them right now through
They
Twitch
had a
Prime.
huge booth at TwitchCon. It was crazy.
Yeah, and Warframe
Pretty
is
hype,
paying
too.
a lot of streamers. I mean, I wasn't one of them that they're paying, but they're paying streamers to play their game. I know Summit was playing it, and then they posted up a bunch of his clips on their social media. So they're really, like, they're going hard at it right now, and I think it's a smart play, because there's going to be people that are going to be disappointed with Destiny 2, and they're going to say, well, why don't I just play this free game?
Give
And
it
then
a
when I
try.
get tired of this free game, I'll just go back to playing whatever other awesome game that is out right now, whether it's, you know, League of Legends, not saying it's awesome, but, you know, Heroes of the Storm or Hearthstone or whatever it is that you're currently grinding. Warframe is like a nice substitute where you can just plug and play and just go, and then if you don't play the next day, it doesn't feel like you're at some sort of disadvantage. When you're not playing Destiny 2, you're lagging behind everybody. Like, it's one of these things where you feel as though you have to constantly be playing the game, and when you're not playing it, you're pissed. You know, it's Warframe is just that perfect turn on and go. I don't really have anything bad to say about Warframe. It's not a perfect game. It's a little dull, to be honest.
It's a
like,
grindy treadmill at times.
It's like being a hamster on a wheel. You're just running around in circles, and you don't. And then 8 hours goes by, and you go, "Holy shit! 8 hours just went by." I guess that's a good thing, but you know, I'm playing the storyline right now. I want to do all the quests. There's quite a bit of content. And sure, the storyline is okay. It's not like the best stuff, but everything is voice acted. Everything is oh my god, the game is optimized just flawlessly. The thing runs like fucking butter, like just straight up butter. And there's a lot of shit that goes on the screen at all times, and there's no frame drops. The only frame drops I ever saw was when there was a cutscene on one of the opening videos in the game, and it probably dropped down to about 20 frames or something. It was like having a hard time rendering. But beyond that, I have not seen a single thing. So Warframe is crushing it for a free-to-play game. And the great thing about it is it's not a pay-to-win. It's a pay-to-speed up. So, like, when you're unlocking things, you can pay platinum to speed up the process. So if you're building something in your foundry and it takes a day for it to build, because they obviously want you to log in the next day and do some more shit, and there's always things that you can do while that's building. So it's not like you have to like turn the game off for the night, but you can speed it up by paying like 80 cents or whatever. And so when you're speeding the process up, since it's primarily a PvE game, it doesn't matter what other people are doing, because it doesn't affect anyone else. If you want to speed up the process,
Yeah, you just pay
and
for
you want
progress.
to, yeah, who cares? I mean, you're not fighting anybody with bigger weapons. You're not not gaining any ladder points or anything. You can just speed it up or slow it down as much as you want. And that's great. Everybody's winning. How do you even complain about that?
Yeah, so my mentality around it, I've been playing more Destiny than Warframe, but the reasoning is actually the same as you, but just I'm executing it differently. I'm like, I love Bungie and I love Halo-style shooters, and I really needed that itch scratched on PC. Like, there hasn't been like a good PC shooter that's pulled me in. So Destiny did that for me. I've played, only a couple hours since I've been busy with work and stuff, but I feel like it's a very competent and well put together game, but nothing more. Like, there's not much going on content wise. It didn't really draw me in, but I'm having fun playing it. And I know for at least the next 2 to 3 weeks, all of my friends are going to be on that train. So, I can hop on and play with them for the next 2 to 3 weeks. Mm. And my mentality is, guess what? Warframe's still going to be there in 3 weeks.
Yep.
And I played Warframe early on, like right when it was an early beta. I played it intermittently here and there. And I'm like, they know how to keep their game running. They know how to do it well. They've added a ton of stuff. So in 3 weeks, when Destiny fizzles out, I'll just go play Warframe and I'll be good.
And doesn't it say a lot though? Like when you're actually
I'm
saying,
like, I know it's going to be there.
you know, when
And people will still be
Destiny
playing.
fizzles out,
Yeah.
because it's inevitable, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, Destiny will be the hot
Bungie
thing
has
here on
not
Twitch,
put content out.
and then
They
that'll
don't
be
have
the
a track
show.
record. Yeah.
Everyone will rush through the fucking campaign, and then
They'll do some rating.
there'll
then
be
you'll have
like
the
3 or
hardcore
4
people.
consistent streamers that pull in decent numbers, and then everybody else is just gonna move back to whatever the fuck they were playing before,
It's going to be
And
months
that's-
until we get more content.
and that's the show.
And I'm like, you know what? I'll pick up the content if it's good in like a couple of months. But for now,
Now-
I'll do Destiny for 3 weeks, and then I'll do other games. Warframe.
One
is
thing that I
tough.
did notice about Warframe is, you know, my viewership was great for it, getting a lot of new followers and stuff, but I think a lot of that is just temporary because of the promotion that's going on. If you're watching Twitch streamers, that you have the ability to be able to get certain loot in the game. So what a lot of people are doing is they're not even watching the stream, and they're just opening up a whole bunch of chats, and they're just having the chats up on the monitor. Like right now in my chat, I probably have like 400 or 500 people sitting in my chat right now from people that are just, they're not even watching your stream. Like I had 2,000 viewers the other day, and there was probably maybe 800 or 900 active people on my chat. And that's mainly because I'm a goofball and I'm going crazy, you know, putting on a show for new people. But if you go and look at a lot of the other streams, it's like it's dead. Like it's a barren, because most people are just, it's like what happened with Paragon when Paragon did the thing with the Twitch streamers where they're giving away certain skins if you're watching streams. The thing is a lot of console gamers don't really watch Twitch. Like that's the reality of it. That's what I'm finding out. A lot of these console players, I'm not saying that's the case. Like I'm sure there's people listening right now who goes, I fucking play console games and I'm watching Twitch right now. Well, yes, I understand. But a huge portion, like all the new wave of people that are coming in, whether it was from Paragon when they did this or they did from Warframe, they're only tuning in for the skins. Now, it's our job to win some of those people over and create new fans, like for long term, and that will happen. But as soon as these promotional things are gone, a lot of the hype will die down for sure. So that's the only. So right now, if people are comparing like Warframe to Destiny in terms of viewership, yeah, Warframe is crushing it right now, but I don't think they're going to be crushing it. They got this promotion for like another week, and then I think in about 2 weeks' time, it'll bring up a nice boost. You might see like a 20% increase from where it was before all of the promo stuff, but I think it's going to die down drastically unless Warframe keeps throwing money at streamers to play their game.
You're gonna have Warframe. I suspect that in 2 to 3 weeks, Destiny will be higher than Warframe, but I suspect, hand it out to 3 or 4 months from now, Warframe will be higher than Destiny.
Oh yeah.
It's just the nature of the game. Some other game's gonna come out, and all the Destiny people are gonna jump ship.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, I guess we'll talk about Destiny first because I played it most recently. So I played Destiny 1 as well for a handful of hours, both on the Xbox and the PS4, because I was playing it with people at different times with different expansions for Destiny when it released. And I wasn't a big fan of it because the way that everything was laid out in the hub world and whatnot, there was a lot of just superfluous crap going on, and it was almost kind of confusing to figure out where you were supposed to be going or who did what and when and why, and there wasn't really any story. The story that was there was complete garbage. The writing was god awful. It was a bit of a hot mess. I mean, Destiny 1 came in hot, crash landed, barely kept it together, and then bandaged itself with 2 expansions before it became a game that people could stand back and go, yeah, this is now a good game. Whereas before, not so fucking much. Destiny 2 is, like Panic was saying as well, and I would agree. When people kept asking me, so is this a good game? How is it, whatever? The way that I was generally saying it is, it's probably, with, I imagine from what I've seen and heard of Doom from 2016, the best shooting experience that you can get on a computer right now. I don't know. I can't speak about the console side because I haven't played it on the console, but from a PC side, the shooting feels really, really fucking good. Every gun I had in my hand, it felt right. I didn't feel like I was getting cheated. I didn't feel like I had a laser beam every single gun either.
They
it
all have
just
feel
felt,
to them, like some
it all
characteristics.
just felt good, and the movement felt good. Except the Warlock's jump is the shittiest jump in the history of first-person shooters, next to PUBG. But outside of that, the movement felt great. Everything it's just smooth running and just great experience from a shooter's perspective. The music is some of the best music I've heard in a shooter in years. And it's unfortunate because the music never seems to actually match up with whatever the fuck is going on screen. So you'll get some of the most incredible layered orchestral epics happening, and you're just having a fucking stroll along doing dick, and it doesn't make any sense.
Surprises
and then
me.
some epic shit will be happening, and you've got some stuff that sounds like it came out of a weird 1990s arcade machine, and you're just like, what the fuck is happening right now? Nothing makes any sense musically. But when if you just listen to only the music, fantastic. Fucking 10 out of 10 soundtrack without questions.
That's funny because they had they developed that whole tech for Halo where they're like, look, if you're just walking around, you're just gonna get the nice chill music, but the moment you get in a firefight, that shit's gonna ramp up.
Yeah, but here's the difference. It worked in Halo.
Yeah, but why don't they have it here? I'm like, they built the shit already. Why not use it here?
Like, it works in Halo for whatever reason, and it's not working in Destiny to save. It's like I went through a period where there was 45 minutes or so with zero music. It was dead silent, crickets in the fucking background, and I'm just shooting people, and people in chat were like, the fuck is the game so quiet for? There's nothing happening. And we just realized there was no music, and I was just strolling along murdering enemies, and there was nothing happening. So it was just very odd. But so again, great shooting experience, fantastic soundtrack if you ignore the fact that it never matches up with what's happening on screen. And that's about the full stopover right there. That's about as far as it goes. Visually, people have been saying this is an incredibly good-looking game. It is not at all. It isn't an ugly game.
Maybe 2015 game.
Necessarily. But here's the thing. The interiors of Destiny 2 all look fine because the shadows are much more pervasive and the lighting system gets a little bit of a break. You step foot outside into the open area and it looks like you're walking into 2014. Shit is just not fucking right. The lighting model in this game is god fucking awful. No shadows on grass. Things are either lit up 125% or zero. It looks like honest to God, it looks like a game that's not had when you're in an exterior place in most of the game. It looks like a game that hasn't had the final pass of the lighting applied to it. And it's so odd and jarring because then you'll go to an interior and it doesn't look bad at all because they can make heavier use of shadows and spot lighting. But when they need to have more complex shit, it looks
Their global
fucking
lighting
bad.
doesn't really work well.
And the LOD stuff for it, like distant objects and trees, look, no joke, like they're fucking N64 level shit. It looks really bad. There was one scene from yesterday where I was driving out with a tank to meet up with my evac crew, and there's the basically the Halo Pelican fucking sitting there on the platform, and in the background I'm looking at trees that look like fucking paper mache, and there's buildings out there that just look like Tetris blocks, and they're all lit 100% equally. So there's no lighting value change anywhere. And I remember just looking at chat and go, I said, look at this. I stopped the tank. I didn't want the mission to end. I said, I want you to look at this and tell me this doesn't look like a game that came out 4 or 5 years ago. It's fucking ugly as sin, but it's not ugly as sin all the time. So I guess it's kind of okay. But from graphic standpoint, it's kind of whatever. You're not going to buy it because it's an incredibly beautiful game, no matter who tells you that it is. But it does run smoothly, to its credit, on the PC.
Very well optimized.
Zero drops, well optimized, and thank God it is, because while this probably feels good as a shooter on the consoles, having that high frame rate and that fluidity with the quality of shooting experience that the game provides is like fucking It's unbelievable. It's probably what people who've been playing Quake for the last 25 years have been just experiencing. Just really tight shooter controls at 6,000 frames a second, and it's really well done. The writing is, I'm telling you right now,
George Lucas level?
No, worse.
Oof.
The writing is, for a AAA title of this magnitude, and again, Jeff touched on this, and I had the same thoughts when I first heard about Destiny. I was excited about Destiny back in the day before it was released. I heard 10 years. I heard Bungie. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be
money.
fucking take me now. I was getting hard. Just
I'm
thinking,
over Halo. The
just
main guys are gone, and now we're getting a real fucking game.
give me something.
Yes.
And then I get Destiny, and it was like, okay, right the second time around. Destiny 2, the writing is, I can't even describe it. I mean, there's a line that happens right in the outset, and you could look this up probably anywhere. It's the intro video, I think, to the campaign, and the line goes something like this. I don't know if I'm going to get it exactly, but it said, humanity, what was it? Humanity, basically it flourished. Humanity flourished, or humanity was doing really, really well. Until it didn't. And then that was the end of it. Zero backstory, zero. We have no idea what the fuck stopped humanity from fucking being God tier. It's just humans were fucking killing it until they didn't. And that was the only fucking, there's nothing else. And that one sentence perfectly encapsulates every other aspect of how story is delivered in Destiny. The shittiest part about this is that Destiny, in a similar vein to Dark Souls, has fucking awesome lore and characters, and the story's really not that bad, but for whatever fucking reason, they refuse to put that shit
They refuse
in
to tell
the
you
game.
the lore.
They fucking won't do it. You have to go look at the Grimoire, you have to go online and read the wiki for 10 hours, you get zero delivered to you. The main villain in this game is a joke. It looks like a fucking frog that was shoved into a shitty Gundam suit and called it a fucking day.
Looks like a really fat Alarak.
Oh my God, it's so bad. I can't take him seriously. His monologues are ridiculous. Just Cade 6 is Deadpool to the extreme in ways that I'm surprised they didn't get sued. It's so fucking close. It's almost as if who is it that plays Cade 6 again? What's his name from Firefly? Nathan Fillion. It's almost as if Nathan Fillion is hoping beyond hope that Ryan Reynolds gets hit by a bus so that he can fucking take Deadpool over from Ryan Reynolds. Like this is his bid to be the next fucking Deadpool as Cade 6 in Destiny 2. It's all bad. The writing's terrible. So for the love of God, do not think that it has gotten better from Destiny 1 for writing, for story delivery, or anything of that nature. Now, to be fair, there was almost no story in Destiny 1, so yes, it's better in the regard that it has more of it.
It exists.
It exists, it's there,
It's
but it's
present.
shit. It's really bad. I guess I could talk about Destiny 2 all day, but I'll skip the rest of it. The campaign, it's there, it's competent, it showcases the game's shooting, and then it makes you feel like a god because you're just snapping headshots like fucking legends. You're running around the room, you're just melting people, and you feel like God. It's great. It's great if you want to feel like God. But you get out of that, and then you dump yourself into the PvP and get ready for a hot pile of garbage in that PvP right now. The meta in this is so bad. So this is what happened. In Destiny 1, and I got this from talking with the community, people playing like thousands of hours of fucking Destiny 1. They said this is what happened. Everyone in Destiny 1 was complaining about PvP in Destiny because it was ability spam. Abilities were up too often, where people were just spamming grenades and fucking spells and all this shit, and so it was a clusterfuck. So they went the polar opposite way for Destiny 2, and they said this time around, we're going to make sure that you can throw a grenade once every half an hour. It's just like, that's an exaggeration, but like you'll be in a firefight and you'll go through 2 or 3 firefights and you'll think in your mind, I must have a fucking grenade by now. And so you'll get a guy low, he'll pop behind a corner, you go to throw a grenade, nope, you don't have a fucking grenade. And then you die. And you're like, all right, well, cool, that's great. So making plays with your abilities has become much more difficult. So this is what happens now. You only get 4-on-4, first of all, so it's castrated at the number of people on the map. You stay together. If you're going to be successful, you stay together. It's like your Voltron. You fucking staple yourselves together into one fucking unit, and you move around the map, and then the moment an enemy peeks out, all 4 of you simultaneously melt the fuck out of the guy with one of like 3 weapons that you unlock by the end game, and you melt them, and that's how you win games. Everything is a 4-man Voltron deathmatch where you ignore most of your abilities and you just melt them with guns because the abilities are down so frequently. And it's bad because for somebody who's just loading up PvP, playing by themselves, and they don't have a 4-man squad, you go out and you'll get these stragglers who won't stick together. And you just lose the game because these poor bastards think that they can play it like Halo and make a play. You know, like you have 2 sticky grenades, you get a shotgun, you're gonna fucking do some crazy shit, and if you're a legend, you can pull it off and you can take out an entire team by yourself. Destiny not letting you do that shit, it's not gonna happen, and you end up losing games. So you get this shit meta that means that games, 90% of the time, it's either a complete blowout for the other team, a complete blowout for your team, and like 1 in every 10 matches might be kind of sort of even. And it's incredibly frustrating for that reason.
Maybe they got you locked in on that proprietary matchmaking system where you just feel as though you have to go buy some DLC to get the upper hand.
Well, I mean, the other thing that bothered me though is, and it does what some other stuff does, the other games do that I'm not a fan of, is the competitive is completely different from quick play.
Really?
So the 2 modes in competitive don't exist in quick play and vice versa. So you go through all of this like quick play stuff, you're training up, you're playing these matches and stuff, then you dump yourself in competitive and you're in a totally different environment. You're in a best of 7, which by the way is way too fucking long and the matches are drudgery even if you sweep the other team. And then you're only getting 2 match types in competitive mode, which is fucking awful. So that's rough, to say the least. And I've heard almost nothing but complaints from people who were fans of Destiny 1 because they went too much in the opposite direction. Obviously, things will change. Here's my takeaway from Destiny, though.
We don't have a takeaway yet.
I thought that was the takeaway.
Holy shit.
There's no takeaway. There's no fucking takeaway yet. The takeaway is, this is how I feel about Destiny. Bungie doesn't know what they want Destiny to be. They have no idea what they want Destiny to be. Destiny comes out, it crashes hard, they change the game dramatically between 2 expansions. Destiny 2 comes out, they reset everything a 3rd time, and we start from ground fucking zero all over again, and now they're gonna go through the entire process from the beginning
What has
once
happened
more.
before will happen again.
They just want to make money, man. They're just making money.
Well, but that's what it is. So, like, people were like, well, they don't really know it. And so I think it's 50% of it is they don't know what the fuck they want the game to be. And the other 50% is they want to make money. So they're just restarting the clock so that they can get people back into it and spend more money. And I keep telling people, it was like, this is, and we had this discussion in previous podcasts, and Jeff's mentioned this too. You're not going to spend $9.99 on Destiny to get even close to the full Destiny 2 experience by the time it's all said and done. You're not going to spend the 110 Canadian that they expect to have for the game plus season pass for the 2 expansions that will undoubtedly not be the only things that they ask money for in the life of Destiny 2. You're probably spending north of $200 some, which I guess if you're the type of person that enjoys grinding to no end, because that's what Destiny eventually becomes. It's an endless fucking grind of the same shit. It's like dungeons and shit with or raids and WoW. It's the same kind of concept.
Warframe is the same thing. They call it grind frame.
Exactly. So but the difference is with Warframe, you don't have to spend any money on it. It's completely fucking free. You can if you want to, and in free-to-play models, on average, people end up spending more money than in pay-to-play over the life of the game, but you don't have to. So I don't fucking know. My short thing for Warframe when I played it was I wasn't a huge fan of the pace of the combat, not because it was too fast necessarily, but I just felt like everyone was just chasing down enemies because everything died so fucking fast all the time. So if you're playing with a group of people, it's just there's inevitably two guys that are way out ahead of you, and you end up walking through an empty fucking hallway because everything's already dead, and you just cycle through it over and over again.
Yeah.
And so it is what it is. But I haven't played this new expansion. I plan on playing it because I want to compare and contrast to Destiny 2 even further. But my final on Destiny is don't
Wait,
buy
that
it.
wasn't your final?
No, in terms of buying it, don't buy it right now. Wait for the first expansion. Unless you're absolutely dying for Destiny, which you still have with Destiny 1, don't fucking buy it until the first expansion, because I can guarantee you, whatever this is right now, most people aren't going to be all that happy with it. So just wait until the first fucking expansion.
So in kind of a segue, I did a bad thing today, guys. I pre-ordered a game.
Oh no, what game did you pre-order?
I read the reviews. Super Mario Odyssey looks fucking amazing.
You're pre-ordering it for 24 hours in advance?
Yeah, man. That still counts. I had a very strict don't pre-order anything rule.
I think you're safe pre-ordering Mario main titles. I think if there was a game that you probably are good for, it's Mario mainline.
Dude, have you
titles.
guys seen the reviews though? Like this thing's gotten like rave reviews from
it's
like
tens
everyone.
everywhere.
I'm like, holy shit.
I can believe it.
I watched
can believe it.
somebody played on stream today. I watched for about 15 minutes, and not gonna lie, it looks pretty fucking awesome. It just looks great. It looks like Mario 64, but better.
Yep. Yeah. And that's what people have been saying is that it's going to remind you of Mario 64, which immediately caught my attention. So I'm going to probably end up playing and reviewing that. It'll be an easy review.
I don't have
this game's awesome.
a Switch or a Wii U, so
you could just buy one.
Again.
For Mario Odyssey. I mean, I'm never going to play another Wii U game ever. I mean, if I can pick one up for on the cheap, then maybe.
Dude, Golf Story looks pretty dope. I actually kind of want to play Golf Story as
People have been going nuts about that game too.
Dude, that dude's a dark horse. People were like,
is that like a JRPG golf game?
I don't even know, but I just see like clips and images of it, and I was just I saw it and I was like, this is pretty good. And then a couple weeks later, everyone started talking about it. I was like, fuck, I'm missing the train right now, boys.
You need to play that game on stream before you do Super Mario Odyssey. I want to see that.
We'll see, but I definitely might have to get in on that golf game. It is basically an RPG, though. Yeah. I mean, how much better can you get?
Gillette.
RPG golf. That's the dream. Oh yeah, no, we're good. We're good on time. I just ran my mouth for like 10 minutes. So the last thing that I wanted to talk about was in lieu of Destiny 2 and Warframe and games in that genre that's ever expanding, and games just seem to be moving closer and closer to the Destiny formula anyway. Is just the general state of single-player games. The head of Xbox, or one of the heads of Xbox, talked about it in the article that I linked there if you guys wanted to take a peek. And basically they were saying that, and I don't know how much I agree with it, but they were saying that single-player games aren't necessarily dying, but I think the way that she put it was like, but the economics of them are complicated. Something along those lines. To which most of the comment section was like, have you heard of Nintendo or PlayStation? Because they've been doing a pretty gangbusters job of locking down single player experiences that have been selling consoles for them for, I don't know, the last 3 rounds of consoles now.
She's not entirely wrong though, because
no, she's not.
Like, again, the economics of a single player game are a lot more, I wouldn't say complicated. It's actually very simple. It takes a lot of time to develop a coherent single player experience with a full story and everything to package that whole thing. It takes a lot of time. Like, it takes a lot of artwork. You have to have, a lot more sets of scenery, a lot more characters. There's just a lot more involved in delivering that experience, which economically translates to it costs a fair bit of money to do that. A multiplayer game You know, you don't necessarily need to have all that many assets. It's much more compact experience because it's a repeatable experience. So it's a lot cheaper to actually put that together. So that's why you see a lot of these studios, like you're seeing multiplayer games are a lot more common now than they were a couple of years ago because internet's better, it's easier, and it lets companies do the whole like games as a service thing. It's like we'll do the Maddens every year. We'll do the Battlefield every other year or something. And, you know, and it's rehashing the same formula without having to do a lot of the extra creative work that goes into making a good single player experience. So I completely understand where they're coming from. But at the same time, I don't think there's ever going to be a multiplayer game of a scale and scope, even though we are seeing people try, that gives you like the same kind of satisfaction or payoff that you've gotten from a really well put together single player game. Like I'm sure you both have games that you played, like RPGs or whatever, that at the end of that you're like, damn, I really enjoyed that. You know what? That was a really good payoff. For me, that series was like the original Mass Effect. You know, I know Adam, you've got a love for Secret of Mana. I'm not sure which game you have, Jeff, but I know you've played a ton of single player games. Which one was yours?
I didn't even finish Secret of Mana. I mean, Persona 4 would be my biggest payoff, probably.
So, like, you know, I feel like you're never going to get that level of satisfaction out of a multiplayer game because, you know, you don't get that kind of build up. You don't get that kind of, like, roller coaster through the game with, like, a definitive ending. You never get that closure from, you know, Destiny or whatever.
Well, that's mainly because most games are structured around multiplayer because that's how you can profit the most money.
Exactly.
And you're going to tell your friends, you're likely going to get a friend to buy the game to play with, and it just kind of snowballs. And also, most games are just like shitty new franchises where they leave the end of the game open for another expansion or another in a movie world like part 2 or part 3 or part 8 or part 10. And so you don't get a payoff. You're always waiting for the next thing. And then eventually you get sidetracked by something else and you're off playing that and they bring out another one. You go, oh, I forgot that. Oh, yeah, I'm going to go in and buy this game. The thing is with single player games is you have a sense of accomplishment because you're doing it all by yourself. Yeah. It's you, yourself, and I playing a game. It's me time. And so when you are done doing whatever, you feel like you've accomplished something. Your buddy didn't carry you. You didn't. It's just a you and game. And so there are not a lot of those out there, but they do exist.
That's why I feel like Divinity and Pillars of Eternity and those type of games are actually kind of making a comeback. Like those classic RPG games, there was a long period where we didn't see anything like that. But now, you know, past couple of years, those studios have come back and like, hey, we got some games you might enjoy. And they've been killing it in terms of like sales and stuff.
Yeah, I don't like. I'll be the unpopular opinion here, I guess, for now, if this is as close as I get for today. There is absolute validity in terms of the economic, the economies of scale here for going for a multiplayer game versus a single player experience. I mean, it's fucking obvious. But at the end of the day, my opinion is people are just making really shit fucking first player games.
Yeah.
They're making fucking garbagey games, and a lot of them suffer because they try and shoehorn multiplayer into the first player experience, and then they spend time and energy and resources that could have been put into the first player part of the game into the multiplayer part, and it suffers for it in a number of different ways. It's just that's my opinion, is the games are just shit. Not every big first person or first player experience needs to be a AAA blow me out of the water fucking magical whatever. Some of the best single player experiences I've had, I've spent $40 or less on, and they're made by indie developers, and they do spectacular jobs. They still look really good. You know why? Because they're still using Unreal Engine 4 or some other, recent fucking engine, the Cry engine or some shit that they've licensed out, and so it still looks good. It still sounds good. Not all of them will have voice acting because it's expensive, or they'll have limited voice acting or something, but the experience is still fantastic. I just think that they're making shit fucking first player games, and a lot of the and the people that would likely say that at the top are the people that are trying to shoehorn multiplayer into stuff where it doesn't belong. I still think Mass Effect, no matter how good Mass Effect 3's multiplayer was, because it wasn't really bad at all, it was actually relatively entertaining, I still think that shit should have never fucking existed. Put that into making a more complete single-player experience, and just leave it alone. I mean, you have to... And then if you do build it out, I mean... with multiplayer games and first player or single player games, it's still similar in regards to if you're going to have a sequel for them, or if you're going to do it the next year, you reuse as many assets as humanly possible for at least 2 titles, so that you get your money's worth in those assets. It doesn't change in a single player game. If you're doing a one-off title, then just change the fucking scope of it. Don't try and be, you know, a 50-hour epic if you're only going to have a one-title game. If you're looking to have multiple parts to the series, then yeah, you can worry about it later. Maybe then you can expand it a bit, because you're going to make use of assets more than one time. But I think at the end of the day, whether or not, I don't know how many people would agree, but I think, honest to God, it's just they're making shit I want to say first person for some reason. First, you know, single-player games. If you look at Sony and you look at Nintendo, Sony locked up Naughty Dog, which was one of the smartest things they've ever done, because you don't see Naughty Dog pumping out Call of Duty to sell consoles. Call of Duty might sell some consoles, but they also rely on Naughty Dog to make incredible single-player experiences that sell consoles, I would argue, possibly more often than a multiplayer game does. That's a multi-platform thing. Exclusive titles sell
like
hardware.
Last of Us, like, it's just awesome to look at and awesome to play. Like, that's what, like, the single player titles are what get me to go out and buy a console. Like, I don't think I've ever really seen like a multiplayer title that said I'm gonna get a console for that. The closest one would be Halo, but I didn't get it for the multiplayer. I got Halo because it was freaking Halo at the time. Like, I completely agree in that respect, because those are like the big ticket sales. Those are the ones that will sell consoles, because like you can show really cool experiences with that, I guess.
Yeah, I've never bought 100% into it. I understand that budgets for games have ballooned to levels that are insane. I still think that that's an industry problem. That's not an us problem. That's a you problem type of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Where you've let it get to this point, and now you're playing the shareholder card, where it's, oh, we need to do this, or you know, Joe and Sally shareholder are going to be salty at us because we didn't make a $400 billion game this year, and yet everyone's still complaining about you recycling your shit. That's a you problem, and I think it all kind of funnels back into the fact that now we're seeing indie developers get into this weird tertiary market that's been created here in the last, I'd say, 3 to 4 years, where their budgets have gone up, and now they're in this. Whereas before, indie was more like a difference between a fucking, if there was a C rate, if there was a C level actor, or if it ever existed, you know, we always talk about, you know, A-listers and B-listers. If there was a C level actor, that would be the indie developers a few years ago versus the AAA titles, and now we've got like indie developers that are the B level. They're not quite hundreds of millions of dollar developers, but they're bigger than the dude putting out RPG Maker shit that they've just created a game with. And it's filling a void, especially in genres that major developers have abandoned. And I think that that's going to continue until we get another Naughty Dog or somebody else in that market that's come up from the indie scene, where people trust their games, have said, look, these guys have been making consistently great experiences, and then they're just going to keep selling more and more, because there's going to be a void left behind when EA, who shuts down Visceral Entertainment and cans that shit and says, you know, oops, we're going to have to retool this whole thing because it's not a multiplayer game and we need to make more money on microtransactions, so get fucked. You know, that, and then they come out. You know it's the case when they come out and say
made Dead Space
it's-
and they get shut down. I'm just like, you know,
yeah,
you
they make
fucked up.
fucking Dead Space. Like, come on, man. Jesus, you gotta be kidding me, right? I mean, and you know it's the case when everybody's saying that, you know, it's especially if you read that press release, and they're like, and people say, well, obviously it's because it wasn't set up to be a microtransaction machine, and then they come out and said, we just want everyone to know that it totally wasn't because this isn't a microtransaction machine, that we're completely overhauling the entire game. To which everyone said, okay, you keep fucking telling yourself that, but you just shut down the fucking company that made one of the most popular and best-selling horror adventure games in the last friggin' 15 years.
In space.
Madness. Absolute madness. Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I guess that's it for segment 1. We are going to take a moment now to give you a verbal ad break, because that's become in vogue now. We've switched over to manual sellout mode. Mr. Black, do you have a sellout segment for us?
Just go to the Patreon and throw money at the screen. Trying to speed this up because we are way behind schedule right now.
Yeah, I forgot that we had stuff to talk about for movies and stuff. Luckily,
Yeah.
there's really not that many things here unless you had things to talk about. If you do, front load them, because the 3 topics I have here are whatever. So if you do, then feel free. But there's your sellout, guys. Go to patreon.com/technicalalpha. Throw money at the screen. Our Patreon has steadily been kind of climbing.
Yeah, it's been
slowly.
going up. Yeah, it's been going up.
Slowly, but it's getting there. Just God help us if a couple of those big guys disappear. But don't think about that. Keep climbing towards 5K so that we can do D&D and you can watch us be bad at it, because you know it would be absolutely incredible entertainment. And yeah, so movies, TV. Movies. Someone's crazy enough to be considering an Ace Ventura reboot, guys.
Why?
They also mentioned in that article that sports movie that had was it Charlie
League
Sheen
or whatever?
was it Big Leagues or whatever that it was
Major
called?
League.
Major Leagues, yeah. So I guess this fucking movie house is like, hey, we need to desperately, and I mean desperately, when you pull these names out of the hat, you are desperate to say the least, to bring back stuff and make some money off of it. And I couldn't believe what I saw when I saw that they were considering Ace Ventura, of all
Like,
things.
why?
Well, if Jim Carrey comes back for it, I'm okay with it. I think it'd be cool to see an Ace Ventura Jim Carrey now that he's older.
That's the only version of Ace Ventura that I would ever want to see. The problem is Jim Carrey doesn't like sequels, and he's already done 2 Ace Ventura movies. So I don't know. I mean, Jim right now is so enamored with painting massive murals in his studio apartment that I don't know if he's going to be pulled out of the artsy fartsy ditch to do an Ace Ventura. But if he did, I'd be all over it for sure. But they were noting in the article that the way they were considering it, they said, while we would love it if Jim came back,
Oh god.
they were considering things like a long lost
No,
relative, like
No.
a son or daughter,
no.
that comes out of the shadows to take up Ace's role in the Pet Detective.
No. Burn it.
How bad would that be? Can you imagine?
Burn it on the
Can
stake.
you
Melissa
imagine?
McCarthy is Ace
Oh
Ventura.
no! Oh god!
You know, it'd be something stupid like fucking Kevin Hart or some shit. Like it'll just be dumb. Just
Oh.
anyway, it's dumb. I think we can all agree it's stupid.
Yeah,
Oh, it'd be
let's
so
not dwell
bad.
on this one.
But
Oh my
please, if it happens, Jim, for the love of God, just it's the only way.
Jim,
this
don't
is
even
fine.
do it because I don't
Just
want to
kill
see
it.
you screw
Yeah,
it
that's-
up. Just
just
let,
kill
just
it.
let it
That's
lay.
true.
Just let it go.
Let it be. Justin Lin returns to do Fast 9 and 10.
Mm.
So we're gonna get back on that train now that he's been gone for was only gone for like 1 movie, wasn't he, or 2?
He might have done 2 movies since.
Did
he's
he
been
do
gone.
3 through 7 or 3 through 6?
Oh, Justin Lin.
Yeah.
He only did number 7, right?
No, I thought that he did 3 through
No, he did
I
not
high?
do 3 through 7.
I'm just going
I
based
thought
on
he-
what I thought I read.
I thought
here.
he only did 7.
Let me see.
What number are we on right now?
We're gonna do 9.
Lin bowed out after the 6th movie, going on to star to helm Star Trek Beyond.
I know he
helmed
did the
parts
Paul. He did
3
the
through
Paul.
6.
He did the Paul Walker one, right?
Lin is often credited with evolving the series from street racing the saga into one of the biggest action franchises on the planet. He helmed parts 3 through 6.
Oh, well, there you go.
Mm.
So there you go. So he's back.
Wait. I'm getting Justin Lin mixed with up with James Wan.
Yeah,
James Wan. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
racist.
yeah. Okay. Wow. Okay. Justin Lin. Sorry, I thought we were
Yes.
talking about James Wan. I was
No.
like, okay, this is cool.
When
Okay,
is he
Justin
gonna-
Lin's coming back. Okay.
When
Yes.
is Lin gonna even do that? He's got a ton of movies coming up.
Well, good news. Fast 9 got pushed off to 2020
Oh,
as a
okay.
release because The Rock was like, I've got more important things to do, like front load my solo movie for Fast and the Furious and make sure that gets released before Fast 9. So that's happening. So the year that was going to originally get released, it's been bumped. I think it was 2018, and now we're waiting until 2020.
Yep. There's a big amount of beef right now between The Rock and
Vin.
Tyrese.
Oh, Tyrese. Oh, that's right. Tyrese is like
um,
lighting him up on socials over
The
it.
Rock. Did you not see the thing that The Rock came back at
That
him
was
with?
savage.
Oh fuck, bro. He went.
Savage.
He's like, yeah. I was just in my trailer there, and I listened to your album there, Black Rose, and
Yeah.
it should be called Black Dog Shit.
Yeah, or something like that.
And he was just going off on it. He was like, it's fucking disgrace. It's
Yep.
garbage. And
Yep.
and he did the whole Rock, like the Rock came out is the most electrifying man. He came out like and he just tore him a new
and
asshole.
It's easy because it's Tyrese Gibson, for God's sake. I mean, really, that's like kicking a small child.
Yeah,
He's
Tyrese
really
is
not,
like, it was all about family, bro. You came in, and you know what? I can see that. Like the Rock
They've
and
been,
Vin,
like,
the
8
Rock
movies.
and Vin were biting or hitting heads for a while
Yeah,
because
they were,
they're
yeah.
having the alpha. Like Vin Diesel is like the grandfather of Fast and
He's the
Furious.
OG.
It's his baby, right?
Yeah.
It's what made Vin Diesel essentially a movie star, like a big time movie star, and he's made shit tons of money off the movie. So off his franchise. So when The Rock comes in and he's an even bigger star than Vin Diesel, they're obviously going to butt heads because when The Rock goes on a set, he's the guy. Like he's the fucking Rock. He's the Rock. I mean, he's Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I don't know how many times I can tell you that, but the man would run for president, he'd win because he's The Rock. So the Vin had a problem, and then they offered The Rock a Hops movie, a standalone film. And the crew was hoping that The Rock would say no and stand his ground and say, no, it's a family thing. We want to get out the next Fast movie. And The Rock said, no, fuck you. I'm going to take my Hops movie and I'm going to do a standalone Hops movie. And I think it's like an origin story maybe where he's like, he breaks out of prison or some shit. I don't know what the last thing I heard, but yeah, they're going to do a standalone film. And so obviously the Fast movie has to wait. And Tyrese is super pissed because, well, it's Tyrese Gibson. And ask me what other things he has going on in his career besides
put out that
making
dope
shitty
album.
music and
Not much.
Transformers. And he's not even in Transformers anymore. So yeah, he's pissed. He's pissed because he's not going to make another fat paycheck. And The Rock is essentially taking over the franchise because the studios are bending over backwards to whatever The Rock wants because he's the goddamn Rock and there's just nothing you can do about it. And so when Tyrese went public and made a bunch of Instagram posts, Facebook posts, and he was going saying, fuck The Rock, he's coming in, he's breaking up our family this, family that, you know, Paul Walker wouldn't want this shit and we all did it and, you know, now you're going to come in here and take over and ain't right. And The Rock said, eat shit, buddy. I'm the fucking Rock. I'll do what I want. So I can see why they're angry. I can see why Tyrese is mad. But at the end of the day, the Fast franchise became $1 billion franchise when The Rock was introduced to the goddamn franchise. So without The Rock, who knows, would we actually be going on Fast and the Furious 9 right now? Would we be doing it? I don't know. Probably. but
it just wouldn't be.
It wouldn't be
money.
nearly as successful. And the reality of it is, people want to see The Rock. People don't want to see Tyrese. That's just. That's just it.
You know what though? I love me some Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I think he's a fucking fantastic dude. But I'm taking Tyrese's side on this one. I think it's a fucking dick move.
It is a dick move.
It's The Rock getting his grind on and shit. But come the fuck on, Rock. You are literally goddamn everywhere. Soon I'm going to be buying toothbrushes with your fucking bald ass head on the backside of them. You are on every damn poster. You're in every fucking movie. You're in every social media feed. Even if I unfollowed your ass and blocked, I'd still be getting you everywhere. You are inescapable, which is fine because you're a good dude, and you're fucking hardworking son of a bitch that came up from damn near next to nothing, and I get that and I love it. But fuck you on this move. This is dumb. This is the first truly publicly greedy ass for no real like what the fuck is The Rock getting as a Hobbs movie?
Money.
But it's not going anywhere.
And
like what is he gonna not get Hobbs movie in 2020 versus Hobbs movie in 2018? It's the same fucking thing. He might even make more money. Because you know the Fast Nine's gonna make $1 billion fucking dollars or more, and so it's not like he's gonna be like, oh well, you know, Rock, the last movie didn't do so hot, so Hobbs is now gonna have to be a little bit lower of a paycheck. No, it's probably gonna be, hey motherfuckers, I just made another $1 billion movie. You can now pay me more money for the Hobbs movie. It's not anything. He's just front loading it because, honest to God, this is how I feel. I think The Rock has got another 5 years in him, and he's getting the fuck out of Hollywood, and he's cramming every last bit that he can get in, and he's fucking piecing out. And I'm watch. It's gonna happen. He's gonna get as much in this short period of time.
And where is he gonna go?
And then fucking get
Run
wherever
for
the
president.
fuck he wants. He's the fucking Rock. He's gonna run for president. He's gonna go back to wrestling.
I don't
or
think
both at the same time.
I don't think he's leaving the showbiz, but I think
He
why
wants
he's
the
doing this
2020 presidential run.
is there's a lot of headbutting in the Fast and Furious with him and Vin. I think he's asserting dominance right now. I think he's letting them all know, like, hey, you know, Vin, you might be in charge, bro, but they're coming to me, and I'm the guy now, and I'm going to be the guy that
came to his defense.
And of course he's going to come to his defense. I mean, look what happened the last time they got into a fight. Vin Diesel at this point is, and you know what, Vin Diesel's going to get a big chunk of money from the Hobbs movie. So who gives a shit? But at the end of the day, you know, Vin Diesel.
Well, that's why you're not hearing Vin complain about it.
Oh,
obviously,
exactly. And Tyrese ain't getting
money.
shit. I mean, Tyrese ain't part of nothing. And you know what? If Tyrese keeps running his mouth, The Rock could say, "I don't want to work with Tyrese."
Exactly.
And you know what the studio will do? Say, "Hey,
Bye,
you know it's
Tyrese.
all about family, but well, you're gone, bro."
We're gonna have to Paul Walker you. Sorry, bro.
Oh,
we'll see,
too soon.
We'll see you off. You're not gonna get the crazy epic fucking Wiz Khalifa send off that Paul did, but maybe we'll
play
hit
a
you
song
up with some
from Black
fucking
Rose.
Flava Flav or some shit. We'll get you real good.
So yeah, I think this is a power play by The Rock. I think he's saying, I'm the alpha. I'm gonna be the guy that's gonna take the Fast and the Furious franchise from here. When Vin Diesel gets tired of doing this shit, or you know or my Hobbs movie blows up, and I'm gonna be the star, because Vin is still the star of the movie. He's still the guy that they're following around all the time. It's just The Rock steals a lot of the scenes that they're together. In fact, the last movie they didn't even film together. They were never on set together, on screen at the same time, because they hated each other so much. So I think we're probably going to see now the same with Tyrese if he ever comes back. And, well, sorry, Tyrese, but it's The Rock. But I agree. I think it's a dick move. I don't think it was necessary. The Rock has got about a bajillion other things going on right now. He's going to be playing a superhero. He's filming Skyscraper right now. The guy just, I don't even know. Does he sleep? I don't think he does. And if he's sleeping, he's working while he's sleeping. So did he need to do this? No. But deal with it, I guess. It's The Rock.
Yeah, exactly. What's the last little, like, completely random thing I've got here? Oh, hey. All right, so we all know that that Arnie is bringing back, reprising his role in Terminator 6, and James Cameron's on board, and Sarah Connor's coming back, and it's going to be the geriatric special nobody ever wanted. But have you ever thought to yourself, man, Arnie's got such a back catalog of absolute amazing films, including the perennial holiday classic Jingle All the Way. But do you ever think to yourself, shit, whatever happened to the sequel to Twins? Well, boy, do I have news for you. Apparently, Arnie is pretty confident now that they're going to begin shooting next year for Triplets, where both men are coming back to reprise their roles. And not only that, they've managed to somehow drug and convince Eddie Murphy to be part of this project.
Oh, God.
So there you go.
Yeah, boy.
The script has now apparently gotten to the point where, like, it was in limbo for a while, and then the script has now been, apparently he's been told 2 weeks away from completion, and then he's hoping to start after this whole Terminator 6 thing wraps up, which is, I guess, sometime in the early 2018 period, and then start, start getting on that Triplets hype. Did you guys even like Twins?
I haven't seen that movie in so long that I can't even tell you if I liked it or not.
It wasn't my favorite Arnold movie. It wasn't bad. Do I think it needs a sequel of all of Arnold's movies? Fuck no.
I don't think any of Arnold's movies need sequels, man.
Bro,
None.
at this rate, we're getting another Commando. Let's be real.
Oh my.
Let's be real. We're waiting for Commando. Do you see some of these like concept art, like posters and shit for Terminator 6? Arnold's haggard ass, airbrushed face.
It's bad, bro. Bad. Stop the madness.
They need to stop rehashing shit. That's what needs to happen.
Oh, but Ace Ventura. That's what what we needed. We need Arnold Schwarzenegger to take up the role of new Ace Ventura.
We needed Ace Ventura as much as we needed a new Ghostbusters.
True. Actually, I would have preferred a new Ghostbusters before Harold Ramis died, and then had an actual sequel. But we're not going to get that. So, rip. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to call it there. That was a quick second half to side A. But now it's time to take a break, come back, side B, coming at you. Tech support questions, patreon.com/technicalalpha. $10 and higher, you can ask us questions each and every week, and then we will answer some of those questions to fill up our side B of the podcast. If you're here on Twitch, you can sit tight because we're going to be right back inside of a few minutes with that side B. For those of you listening on iTunes, or if you're watching this on YouTube, etc., and you've got it that first day, it's Friday. Well, guess what? You got to wait a little bit because it's not going to be out for a while. But you'll be able to listen to it soon. So, ladies and gentlemen, sit tight. We will be back in a couple of minutes. And for everyone else listening at home, until we see you on the next one, peace.